Hello everybody and welcome back to another Global Space Program video. Today I will be flying a recreation of the Soviet Union's shot at a moonshot. Originally created in 1959, or at very least the idea originally came from then. The N1 was arguably one of the most quote-unquote Kerbal rockets ever considered and produced in real life. It was created 4 times, all of the launches failing. Actually, it was created about 6 times, but the last 2 were scrapped following, the cancellation of the program and then eventual, fall of the USSR. I almost said United Nations. Definitely not the United Nations. That first stage there, Block A, has 30 NK-15 engines, here represented by Skipper engines, and then those 4 Grinfits. You can see there, we've got the Ring of 6 and the Ring of 24. I believe that the Ring of 24 didn't actually gimbal. I did not replicate that on this replica. Now we should be jettisoning Block A here in a minute, and be going on to Block B any second now. Block B has 8 NK-15V engines, also represented by Skipper engines. There we go. The N1 was, 105.3 meters tall and 17 meters in diameter and weighed 2,750 tons. We should be jettisoning the launch escape tower here soon, showing the Soyuz block, I believe block G. Yep, block G. And, in that little fairing there is the lunar lander, the L3 lander. I believe it was called anyway. It was called the official name of the rocket was the N1-L3. Oh, we've jettisoned Block B and gone on to Block V. That has 4 MK-21 engines, here represented by Skiff engines. That should get us into a orbit around Kerbin, or Earth. It would have done, but here we're doing it in Kerbin. The N1 is horribly overbuilt for Kerbin scale. Here we go. We've just said jettisons. We're on to Block G now, just deploying those solar panels on the Soyuz spacecraft. The modified Soyuz spacecraft is basically where the astronauts were, or cosmonauts rather. With us today, we've got Bob and Bill, but we've also got Valentina, who is named after the first woman in space, Valentina Kroshkova, I believe her name was, who was a Russian cosmonaut. So here we're just beginning our Munar injection, though it would have been the trans-lunar injection. So once we get our orbit, there we go, we will set up our maneuver mode to lower our maneuver node, apologies, and then we'll orientate, and we'll be on our way. Now, this Soyuz, I believe, is a little bit wrong. I believe it only would have carried 2 cosmonauts. But I simply used the Soyuz that I already had. And just slapped it on, so it's not the best, but it works. Alright, so we're just lowering our orbit, and then we will circularize. I believe I said that backwards, but it's whatever. So we will do that. Now, the N1 didn't work for a lot of reasons. Mainly budget. They weren't able to test any of the engines. The engines actually had they had chemical valves, as in they burn away. Sorry, combustible valves. So they burn away. So you couldn't do it more than once. Ignore the weird fairing separation there. There you can see the L3 lander. It's really hard to recreate that in Kerbal Space Program. It's very difficult. I should also mention the engine. Oh, here we go. We're just separating the Soyuz. Oh, no, sorry. We're moving Valentina from the Soyuz spacecraft to the lander because even if they were connected by docking ports, these docking ports were actually too small and simply didn't have any crew tunnel because it added too much weight. So they would have to EVA, get out of the spacecraft, and transfer over. Anyway, I should mention on Block G there, I've got a Wolfhound engine representing a NK-19. I don't believe there were no other NK-19s, and that was the closest thing I get to, which is ironic considering it's meant to represent the Apollo service module engine. I forget what that was called. And also, the Block V, the 4 NK21s represented by Skiff engines, which were meant to be analogs for the J2 engine, which was the engine used on the second and third stage on the Saturn V, which is the only successful moon rocket, crewed moon rocket. So Block V actually helps slow down the lunar lander. It is incredibly difficult to recreate this lander, as it's very circular, whereas most Kerbal Space Program items are rather cylindrical. So this is the best I could do. In the thumbnail, there'll be a picture of the actual lander. It was incredibly difficult to recreate, but I think I did a pretty good job. So like the Apollo lander, it would actually leave something on the moon, leave the landing legs, but only the landing legs. No fuel tanks or anything we use, and we use the same engine, but that's spoiling a little bit. Basically, we'd only use half of our fuel, is the main idea. So in real life, this ran on fuel cells, and it does here as well, although I don't stay on the Mun long enough to actually warrant it, but we should be landing any second now. And touchdown. Very smooth landing there. We will deploy. There was this really weird shadow here. I do not know what it was. I think it may have been a weird glitch with the Soyuz spacecraft. I'm really not quite sure what it was. It happened twice and then never happened again. I am very, very confused as to why it happened and what it was. And you can see I'm just sporadically searching and trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah, we can deploy our antennas and our ladders. Yeah, there it goes again. And I accidentally press the action group to bring those back in, and it puts the ladders back in, but I fix that in a second. I'm just looking to see if there's something, anything, but I couldn't really find anything. It was very strange. Regardless, we are now on the moon, and unlike the Apollo lander, it only carried one cosmonaut, which would have been very lonely. So there was only one cosmonaut on the ground, or would have been, rather, if it had succeeded. There would have only been one cosmonaut on the moon. Yeah, here I believe I'm just going to transfer some fuel, because on this, I guess, replica, it doesn't actually use the fuel from those tanks. You have to transfer it back, whereas in reality, it would have just used that fuel. Actually, I believe they had, like, fuel specifically for landing and, like, in the same tank. It was complicated. But yeah, so I'm just transferring the fuel here, and then I will get Valentina on an EVA. It was really hard to figure out where the RCS spots were. Here we go. We're hopping out now. We'll plant a flag. Any day now. And we have flag and boots on the moon. Bit of a for all mankind reality here, I suppose. And here we are. Very nice. And there's the thumbnail. Actually, I'm not sure if it will be or not, but I decided to do a little bit of an EVA adventure here and look at the debris, because not all of it got destroyed from Block G. We can see a decouple of it, and back here we've got the, what was it, the NK-19, and the bottom fuel tank there. Yeah, I guess the main fuel tank must have taken most of the blow, as well as the fairing. But heading back, we climb back up the ladder, and hop back in. Now we're going to wait for the Soyuz to go over the top of us, and we'll rendezvous. This was a reasonably easy rendezvous. I'm rather proud of it. So give us a moment. I probably should have sped this up, but it's alright. The N1 is by far cooler than the Saturn V. Don't get me wrong, the Saturn V is cool and all, but the N1 is just so ridiculous. Right, here we go. I'm not sure if there were... You'll see in a second. Separation motors. I'm not sure if there were separation motors on the L3, but it makes it a lot easier for Kerbal Space Program. So yeah, there we go. We're shooting up. This thing was a pain in the ass to fly, because that service module is not empty. It has a SAS wheel, it has batteries, monopropellant tanks. It's not empty because it was extra space, might as well use it. And by God, it moves the weight over a significant portion, and it was a pain in the ass to fly. It was like flying with a goddamn horse on my back, but I managed to get it. And here we're just getting our separation. Zooming over, Valentina just chilling. Then we're just slowing down our relative velocity. Very nice. And now we'll shoot towards it. Wait until we get close. And slow ourselves down. Very good, very nice. There's a Soyuz there. We're just going towards it, getting ready to dock. I was a bit too enthusiastic with the speed here. We kind of hit into it, but we managed to dock. And well, here we go. Now we'd be transferring science experiments and whatnot, and we get Valentina to hop out of the lander and hop back into the Soyuz. Very nice. I'm fairly certain that the Lunar Soyuz would have used solar panels. I don't see a reason why they wouldn't have, but it is possible it would have used fuel cells as well, much like the Apollo spacecraft. But from what I could find, it seemed to be that it was it used solar panels. I believe it was just a modified Soyuz. And that may, yeah, I'm not sure. Here we're just trying. This is just life support mode. I have TAC life support, just transferring waste and stuff like that. This spacecraft is completely stock, aside from making history. Breaking ground? No, just making history, I believe. So yeah, just aside from making history, it's completely stock. No mods were used. I have mods installed, but no mods were used. So here we're just getting our trajectory back to come. For some reason, the maneuver node maker was really struggling to tell how much delta V I had. It didn't think I had any, but I clearly did. So we're just kind of getting back onto, so that we'll go into the Kerbin's atmosphere. I normally try to not leave any space debris, but we had to leave the Block V, and then the lunar lander in orbit as well. In real life, both would slowly decay. Here we go, we're just re-entering. I didn't actually go this fast, I've got it sped up. And here we go, parachute deployed. And very nice, very nice, very nice. There we go, well, I'll wrap it up because we're getting close to the end. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll be doing more videos like this. This felt rather rushed. Hope you guys enjoyed. Just in a sec, we'll be deploying solid rocket motors to slow down, and then, well, we'll call it a day. Thank you very much for popping in, and yeah, give me a like if you liked this video. I did it a bit too early. Peace out.